Hello, trainers, and welcome to my Stellar Crown competitive buy list. I am very excited to share with you guys what I think you should buy when this set comes out. There is just so much potential for creativity and big damage outbursts, and just, it's a big set. A lot of people want to say it's really underwhelming but I honestly believe that Stellar Crown is only underwhelming at first glance. When you look deeper, there is so much more things just to see and do and experience and experiment with. And I'm here to share with you guys today. And if you like this concept and you want to see more competitive buy lists in the future, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can support your boy for doing more amazing PowerPoint presentation videos like this. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's get started. So, the first thing you should ask yourself when you're buying Stellar Crown is what new decks you should play with. Well, if you're a tank player, Terrypagos is your route. If you like energy-dependent damage acceleration, Hydrael, you should go with that. Item block, which I bet a lot of people are going to either love or hate. You should play with Galvantula EX. In the beat stick, you should play with Cinderace if you just want to play brain dead, crazy damage decks. And I think all four of these are just incredible decks. They're doing really well in Japan. People are being really creative with them. I personally am excited for Hydrael and Galvantula, but Terrypagos and Cinderace do have its merits as well, and I'm about to share all of those merits with you right now. So with the Terrypagos, you are going to be able to do 180 damage plus protection, potentially on the first turn if you get your energies correct, meaning that your opponent is stunned unless they are able to gust. And with that unified beatdown and it could do so much damage for as many benched Pokemon as you or your opponents. And with Area 0 Underpaths, that could be so much damage. Hoot is the new, basically, support Pokemon, because when you evolve it into Noctowl, if you have a Terra, you can gain 2 trainer cards, which is just incredible for this deck because it'll speed it up. It'll make sure that you can either get heavy damage or play more defensively. Just Terrypagos, for a universal type, it has universal routes. It can go attack or defense. And with Van Rotom, you can get so many Hoots out, and it won't be a problem. You could probably potentially get 6 trainer cards per turn if you price correctly, which would be insane, and just allowing, Terrypagos to go even faster. Glass Trumpet just allows Terrypagos to get more energy, potentially first turn. If you evolve Noctowl, you can get Glass Trumpet. It can go directly onto the Terrypagos, just making this more faster. All these new Terra-type Pokemons are basically getting very awkward energy costs, and it feels like Glass Trumpet will really help accelerate those weaknesses of that Pokemon. Briar, turning any Terra Pokemon into Iron Hands as long as your opponent has 2 prizes left. Very scary, with its unified beatdown. You never know when this thing could sneak up on you. It'll be a late game surprise for everybody, but in Terrypagos, it works because it can do high damage outputs for, good cost. Well, okay cost. And finally, the new stadium, Area 0 Under Depths. You can now have 8 Pokemon on your bench, and so can your opponent, allowing Unified Beatdown to hit for so much damage I can't even calculate. So it's very exciting to have 8 Pokemon on the bench. With Terrypagos, that means you could have 3 Hoots and then maybe a Squawk or something like that. And pretty much once Area 0 Under Depths is taken out, potentially you could just, sweep those supporters bye-bye and you could be left with high, protectors like Terrypagos. So very, very, very exciting. All right, and I think that is enough for Terrypagos. Let's move on to the next deck. Hydrael. So Hydrael can be paired with Ogerpon, Teal Mask Ogerpon EX for so much energy acceleration. And, it's a good way to stop Monkey Dory because you can also heal 30 damage from your Pokemon, especially Applins. So you are just, you are in a really, really good time to be playing this because with Ogerpon, energies just flood. It just floods. And, with Ogerpon, you could be drawing more cards, helping feed this Hydrael. And, you could use Briar for that Ogerpon high damage output sneak attack, which is really, really going to surprise your opponent because they'll be game ended before they even know it with how fast this deck should be going. Alright, that's enough for Hydrael. Let's talk about Galvantula. So, Galvantula does a decent amount of damage for low cost, especially for 2 energies. I mean, you could hit a Chen Pao if people are still playing that, like turn 1, and take a 2 prize cards early lead. And if that, and with Vitality Band, you could easily take out an Iron Hands just like that. So pretty much just doing really high damage early on, and then, late game, if your opponent is, struggling, or you're struggling against your opponent, fine, just item lock them, which is insane. And I just really like the board state disruption that Galvantula is just able to cause. It's hand and board state disruption, which I think is going to be incredibly broken. And not only that, but the new Joltik card is just insane. If you cannot find a way to evolve Galvantula turn 1 with either Salvatore or the new Tree card, just getting Joltik and energy accelerating that fast is just going to be insane, where you could get 2 grass and 2 lightning energy in any way. Put an Iron Hands in this deck, and this deck is broken. Hoo-Hoo and Noctowl, again, just speeding up the process, putting as many trainers as possible. Glass Trumpet, also speeding up the process by putting energies on there. Area 0 Underdubs, I don't think it's as important in this deck, but it's still great just to get as much support out there as possible and being able to knock it out. Just also increasing the range of secondary attackers this deck can have. And then Crispin, just another Glass Trumpet, putting more acceleration on. It's just that I feel like these Terras get such good support. And usually we get a deck where there's only like 1 or 2 good decks, if at all. But this set comes out with 4 good decks. And Crispin is a real good player because you could just pop an energy in, have one in your hand, maybe do a Charged Web this turn, and then, full Great next turn. If you can't get something like Sparkling Crystal, which will reduce your attack by 1, or your Glass Trumpet, which will, or you could spam the Glass Trumpet, so... just really fast. I think this deck is going to be super hype. I'm gonna give it a try. Item lock has never been as good as, Palpitoad or EX back in the day, but, I think it is pretty good now that Galvantula is here. Alright, on to the next deck, Cinderace, Beat Stick. Pretty much all these decks that I've been seeing coming out of Japan are basically Charizard decks with Cinderace popped in. But the thing about Cinderace that I really like is it can hit 280 or maybe 260 with that double turbo energy. Crispin, also you can get more energy onto it. Briar as well, doing 280 Iron Hands pretty much if they have 2 left. So Cinderace is pretty much a Iron Hands that can do 280, probably potentially grabbing you 3 prize cards in 1 turn, So that's really, really exciting stuff if you're a very impatient Charizard player. And Sparkling Crystal plus Crispin again could make energies like this, like make it 1 fire energy for 280, or any energy for that matter for 280. And your reach is really far because you can do 180 damage to your opponent's Pokemon as long as they don't got, any bench protection or anything like that. So, we're looking at a new Charizard Beat Stick competitor. I don't know if it'll be as good as Charizard, especially with those attack costs. It seems a lot like more work, but we'll see how Pidgeot does, to be honest. Alright, now we have new support for older decks. So if you're wanting to play something that is older in the meta, you have Palkia for board state dependent damage acceleration. You have Regidrago for attack variety. You have Charizard for Beat Stick. And you have Raging Bolt for energy dependent damage acceleration. So all of these decks get new buffs, and they're doing really, really, really well in Japan. So let's go see how they are doing. First, we got the ultimate Pokia V-Star. Basically, BDIF right now because it can do more than 260 damage with Area 0 Underpass, which makes Pokia just the highest reaching ceiling for damage as long as your opponent has a Terra Pokemon with Area 0. But not only that, Terrypagos allows it to give it a turn to evolve, with Crispin helping it out completely by putting another energy on, and Noctowl potentially going for the Glass Trumpets if these decks even played at all. I don't know why Japan's not. Fan Rotom just helping accelerate those Hoots for the Area 0 Underpaths, because I just feel like this is just insane. Like, the strategy is just insane. Flood your board as much as you want, and then suddenly let the damage start rolling because Palkia and Terrypagos basically just have the same attack, which is insane. And, it just doesn't get any better than this. Especially, we forgot one more thing, Palkia's energy acceleration. You can slap a Greninja on there and just, start, taking everything out as long as they got no mana phase. So, it just so much potential with this deck. I am very, very, very excited to be playing this deck. Alright, on to the next one. Regidrago V-Star. Pretty much not much support for it. I took some creative liberties in adding my own personal opinions, not just what Japan is thinking, but I think Baby Raging Bolt has a good chance to be in there. Yes, there's always Kyurem right now. It can do 110, but if you're looking to do anything higher onto the bench instead of just 110, wanting to get some, some free prize cards, and you don't have the Dragapult, set up because, people start playing Rapska because Tord did. I don't know. Raging Bolt just seems like a good opportunity, and he can even hit with the attack at Pokemon too. Just another option. I think that's pretty great. And Crispin allowing for more energy acceleration. Regidrago doesn't get Glass Trumpet, but Crispin does seem like a good compromise. And Regidrago does struggle sometimes with that energy acceleration. So, you can get a fire onto it and a grass, and then you can put that grass, and then you can energy switch. It's a good combo. Charizard EX gets Briar, which is going to be insane, making Charizard bigger and better than it's ever been. Because imagine just being in Iron Hands and hitting for 330, which is just insane, when your opponent's on their, or basically 300 Iron Hands. So it's a little more than Cinderace, but there's more conditions. Your opponent has to be on 2 prize cards. So, just a really, really good way to be getting 3 prize cards with a Charizard, potentially, And great tree in order to, evolve your Pokemon into Charizard. You can't use your effect during your first turn though. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see how this card goes. But I see it a lot playing in Japan. I'm very, very, very worried about how this will affect the meta. Especially because Charizard's already crazy enough. Not like, it only made like 10th place at Worlds, but Briar might change things up. And Great Tree might make this deck go even faster. I'm going to assume that Great Tree will probably make this deck easier to pilot. I'm just hoping. I am going to definitely revisit Charizard during Stellar Crown. Alright, on to the next. Raging Bolt EX. Not a lot of options that I saw, so I took some creative liberties as well for this one. Raging Bolt Mini will probably act the same way that, you know, Roaring Moon Mini will act. You know, you might just need a one of, you know, and it can spread thin, and it'll help with the prize race a lot more. You know, not having your opponent have to do 2-2-2, you know, they're gonna have to might do like 2-1-1-2 if you use, you know, Rescue Carrier or anything like that. So just the prize race seems a lot better with this smaller Raging Bolt being out. And then I think Deluxe Bomb would be great. I would say a little like uneven with Prime Catcher, because you're going to be able to conserve a lot more energy if your opponent attacks you and there's already energy spread out on his board. And like, I think that's pretty good, because in the end game, if you're going against Pokemon that have 330, you just are less stressed out. So Deluxe Bomb is for people who don't know how to play around, you know, other things. But it's just given the choice. Would you rather Prime Catcher and just allow, you know, something like Charizard to be, you know, harder to beat late game? Or do you want a Defiance Bomb and let Charizard do lower damage, maybe, you know, mid-game? Who knows? Briar, of course, for Ogerpon, you know, making Ogerpon just Iron Hands, which is ridiculous. I would say that it would be a lot harder to search for Briar than in other decks that can just play Noctowl, so, you know, be cautious with that card. And Area Zero Underpass, I would say, is the great Pokestop replacer, because Teal Mask Ogerpon is gonna be more on the bench, with more support, just allowing you to hit, you know, higher hand numbers, which I think is going to be amazing, but people are still going to play Pokestop until it goes away, but this is just a good replacement. Now, here's cards that I see have potential. I think Orthworm is a rogue tank deck potential, because you can just put 2 damage counters for each energy that you have on it with Matang. This will go absolutely stupid if you play this right. Slowking, basically, if you use, what's it called? The, new stadium card that allows you to put your Midnight Academy, you could basically just, put any Pokemon on the top of your deck and discard it, and it can do its attack. So it's a new range variety deck potential, which was really exciting. Gravity Stone, I don't know why this card isn't being hyped more. Maybe it's just a stall, you know, a stall stream, because now they have more retreat, so things like Mimikyu are, and, you know, Earthen Stone Mask, you know, Ogerpon, are gonna have a lot more reasons to be around, even with Pecharunt on the field. Papaya Berry, Guardy players, or, you know, pretty much Psychic types, you take 60 less damage, so basically, if your meta is, you know, if your league is flooded with Guardies, then, you know, just, this is a way to go, huh, that's something I can put in my deck and troll some Guardy players. And then finally, Kofu, one of my favorite cards of the classic era Pokemon maintenance. And, you know, I think it would be a good one-of tech in your deck. If Iono seems like it's a little too much, giving up your hand is, you know, too much. It just gives you the second option. So you can be certain that you can make those combos. Alright, and this is the starter pack for Pokemon. This is what I would say if you walked into a store and they had everything Stellar Crown. This is what you would want to buy. This is what I would personally go after as far as the Pokemon. Not much here, but it is really just getting all the things that debut the good decks. And yeah, I would just get a lot of that. And then the trainer buy list, pretty much if I walked into a store, this is what I would want to get as well. Potentially even more. I think the only crazy thing here is just getting just the sparkling crystal. It's that good of an A spec. It goes into a lot of the new decks. And yeah, it really just speeds it up. So I've never recommended buying more than one type of A spec before, but sparkling crystal just goes into so many things. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my Stellar Crown review and buy list. It comes out on September 13th, oh my gosh, 2024. Oh my gosh, I messed that up so bad. But I am very, very, very excited, and I just wish you guys the best of luck hunting down these competitive cards. And if you're a collector, I might give you a cookie or something, I'm not sure. Alright, thank you guys so much. Have a great one.